Man United set to hand Ruben Amorim a modest budget. Welcome to Manchester United Daily Updates. Before continuing this video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest news from Manchester United. Manchester United plan to operate differently with Ruben Amorim as manager. According to The Telegraph, the club will work with a leaner budget compared to when Erik ten Hag was in charge. Under the Dutchman, the Reds shelled out big money to sign players like Mason Mount, Antony, and Rasmus Højlund, but that is set to change under the Portuguese tactician, who held his first training session today. They want Amorim to focus on maximizing the potential of the players at the club, ending a vicious cycle of overhauls. There are several players at the club currently underperforming, and he needs to get them playing their best football. Rather than shell an obscene sum to sign Sporting CP man Victor Gyökeres, Amorim must get the best from Højlund, who has shown signs of his potential but has also struggled for consistency in England. Financial constraints, including significant losses over the past few seasons, have necessitated a more cautious approach to spending. United are under pressure to reduce costs and improve efficiency, particularly if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. Despite the financial challenges, Amorim is optimistic about the potential of the current squad. He believes many players can reach new heights with the right coaching and support. United currently sit 13th on the Premier League table but are only 4 points away from Chelsea in third place. If Amorim can get United fit and firing, there is every chance they could clinch the fourth Champions League spot ahead of the inconsistent Blues. United do not need another massive overhaul to tailor the squad to the manager. He needs to fit the players on the roster into his system. Big money signings have not worked out for the club, and there are numerous examples to back that assertion. Maybe they need to cut back and make more tactful moves. Ruben Amorim discovers Man United transfer budget, and it's bad news for new manager. Manchester United are hoping that the arrival of Ruben Amorim as head coach can signal the end to their massively unsuccessful big spending era in the transfer market. Ruben Amorim will be expected to improve the players he has at Manchester United, who are determined to implement a more sustainable approach to transfers. United showered Erik ten Hag with expensive new players, shelling out more than £600 million on transfers over his 2.5-year reign as manager. Amorim is the first head coach hired by Sir Jim Ratcliffe's Ineos ownership, and his arrival signals a changing of approach. The 39-year-old was brought in from Sporting Lisbon, alongside his coaching staff, because United consider him to be the brightest young coach in Europe. He worked wonders at Sporting, turning around an unhappy camp to win 2 league titles and 2 cups. After paying around £15 million to get rid of ten Hag and his staff, just months after giving him a new contract, and paying Sporting £9.25 million in compensation to hire Amorim mid-season, United are drawing a line under things. The club has posted losses before tax of £312.9 million over the past 3 seasons and are under pressure to comply with profit and sustainability rules. Around £180 million was spent in the summer transfer window to sign Lenny Yoro, Matthijs de Ligt, Joshua Zirkzee, Noussair Mazraoui and Manuel Ugarte, and Amorim has been told not to expect funds for the upcoming January transfer window. The Telegraph reports that he will be given a more modest budget compared to ten Hag, because the club believes there is untapped potential in the squad he has inherited. Rasmus Højlund, a £72 million arrival from Atalanta, and Mason Mount, a £55 million signing from Chelsea, are cited as 2 such examples. Amorim and his staff have been brought in to coax improvements out of such players and build around the young core in the squad. The Ineos ownership, led by Sporting Director Dan Ashworth, Technical Director Jason Wilcox, Chief Executive Omar Berrada and Ineos Director of Sport Dave Brailsford, are also aware of the potential impact that missing out of the Champions League for a second straight year could have. United are currently 13th, 4 points adrift of the top 4, ahead of Amorim's first game in charge against Ipswich on Sunday. The new leadership team has already overseen a huge cost-cutting exercise, which included making 250 people redundant in. I cost Leeds big time by rejecting £11.7 million deal. Man United now want to sign the player. Former Leeds United director of football Victor Orta has claimed that the club once tried to sign potential Manchester United target Victor Gyökeres. Leeds United once tried to sign Victor Gyökeres before he headed to Sporting CP, whose recently departed manager Ruben Amorim could convince to follow him to Manchester United. Gyökeres had a standout season with Championship club Coventry City back in the 2022-23 season, after making his loan move from Brighton permanent in 2021. His stellar performances attracted interest from various clubs, including then Premier League side Leeds United. Former director of football Victor Orta told Portuguese paper Record that he chose to avoid making an £11.7 million offer for Gyökeres at City, and instead opted to sign Jorginho Rutter from TSG Hoffenheim for a record fee of £36 million. Orta said, "When I was at Leeds United I didn't want to give €14 million for him. Cases like that of Gyökeres are the good surprises that football gives us, those things that we cannot measure." After firing Coventry City to the playoff final, before being bested by Luton Town who were promoted to the Premier League, Gyökeres took his scoring talents to Portugal instead of Leeds and signed for Sporting. The Swede secured a 5-year deal with the club, with a club record transfer fee of £16.7 million, €20 million. Coventry also received a sell-on fee, now standing at 5%, for Gyökeres, and his release clause was set at £83.5 million, €100 million. And since then the striker has been smashing it over in Portugal, scoring 66 goals in 68 appearances and assisting 19 times. His goal-scoring prowess has made him a hot asset in Europe, and now departed Sporting manager Amorim may look to bring his star striker to United as he heads to England to lead the Red Devils. Despite there being heavy rumours that the 26-year-old could make a move to Manchester, he has been coy about the speculation. Speaking last week, Gyökeres said, "He probably has some strikers there already, so we'll see. No, he hasn't asked me to join him. It's fun but nothing I attach any importance to because it's talk and nothing concrete." And while there's no solid links to United, the Swedish striker left Amorim with the best parting gift before he headed to England. The forward scored a hat-trick against Premier League champions Manchester City in a 4-1 Champions League win for Sporting at the beginning. Manchester United and Liverpool chase £54 million Chelsea flop. Manchester United and Liverpool are in the hunt for a failed Premier League footballer, but he won't come cheap. Manchester United and Liverpool are the best of enemies, with both clubs now set to battle for the signature of a £54 million forward who flopped at Chelsea. Ruben Amorim has arrived as Manchester United manager and is now setting about making changes to the playing squad at Old Trafford. With the January transfer window fast approaching, there's a perfect opportunity to make the necessary decisions. Liverpool won't let Manchester United take control of negotiations for one transfer, though, with Arne Slot's side looking to capitalise on an excellent start to 2024-25 with some January additions. According to a report from the Court Offside Daily Briefing, Manchester United and Liverpool are interested in signing Christian Pulisic from AC Milan, after being left impressed by his performances in both Serie A and the Champions League this term. Indeed, the American has started the 2024-25 season with 7 goals and 5 assists in 15 appearances in all competitions, marking a serious return to form after a difficult time at Chelsea. Signed for £58 million from Borussia Dortmund in 2019, Pulisic did enjoy winning the Champions League during his time at Stamford Bridge, but he ultimately failed to live up to expectations and departed for AC Milan in 2023 for just £18 million. After just 18 months in Italy, Pulisic is now close to matching the goals and assists he managed at Chelsea in half the games for Milan. As such, the Italian giants aren't willing to sell the 26-year-old for anything less than £54 million, highlighting the sharp turnaround in performances. Ruben Amorim to work with reduced budget as Manchester United aim to end wasteful transfer churn. Ruben Amorim is set to operate on a more modest budget to Erik ten Hag at Manchester United and will be tasked with maximising the untapped potential in the squad as the club aim to end the damaging and costly cycle of mass overhauls. The new United hierarchy have no plans under Amorim to rip up a squad they feel is capable of delivering far more and are determined to move away from a culture of persistent upheaval they believe to be financially unsustainable and destructive to coherent squad building. Denmark striker Rasmus Højlund and England midfielder Mason Mount are cited as just two examples of players United are hoping can thrive in a new environment under the charismatic Portuguese, who will take charge of his first game as the club's new head coach away to Ipswich Town on Sunday. United have averaged 5 new signings every summer for the past 10 years under 4 different managers with vastly different ideas of how they want to play. All have had little success to show for the huge expenditure. While Amorim is expected to be operating under a more modest transfer budget next summer than his predecessor Ten Hag did during his 2.5-year reign, when he spent more than £600 million, United want to implement a more sustainable structure where waste is limited, the churn of players greatly reduced and more talent realised. United hope Amorim can inject new lease of life. United feel there are plenty of players in the squad who, with better coaching, attention and support in the right system and setup, have a much higher ceiling than they may have shown previously, and the club hope Amorim can unlock that potential. Equally, there is a feeling there may be more experienced players who also stand to benefit considerably from Amorim's arrival and others who find they are given a new lease of life in potentially reimagined roles. With losses before tax totaling £312.9 million over the past 3 seasons, United are under huge pressure to reduce costs to ensure continued compliance with the Premier League's profitability and sustainability rules and UEFA's own financial sustainability regulations. Those pressures will become more acute if the club miss out on Champions League qualification for a second successive season and, with it, the vast broadcast revenues that come with playing in Europe's Premier Club competition. Thanks for watching. See you next time.